then on to the web swing mechanic of this one. So it has a much more evolved. The web swing is much more evolved compared to the PS1 games, where you can ascend, descend, you can speed up, and you can travel somewhat freely around the environments. And there's a lot more focus of aerial combat in this game. What was the reason for having so much aerial combat in the game? And was the lock-on mode, or lock-on mechanic, was that like implemented specifically to make the aerial combat? Was it like made specifically so you could like lock onto the enemy while you're swinging about?
If I remember correctly, it was like it was sort of like Spider-Man swinging around on webs and being in the air. That's kind of part of what the like, if I remember what Tomo said correctly. I think Tomo was kind of the main driver of this. Like that's what makes Spider-Man special, and what could make the game special, right? Like lots of games have combat, but Spider-Man can get up in the air and and on his webs and do combat there, and that's sort of a way we can be special, right? Differentiate ourselves. And so I think that was part of the reason, but also like we knew the Green Goblin was going to be the big bad boss, and he has his glider, and so we're kind of assuming that there was going to be an aerial battle with him. And as far as like how do you like with, I think if it was mouse and keyboard, maybe we wouldn't have needed a lock-on mechanism like that. You could have actually aimed your web shots or whatever at the bad guy while flying around him. But since it was a console, we needed some kind of auto aim, and the lock-on was good. Lock-on lets you do some strategy, right? You can switch which target you're going after.
Yeah, no, it was really, I don't know, it was really cool. It definitely, I think for that time, I remember for that time, it was definitely like really, really fresh thing to do, because the PS2 has like been out for like 2 years maybe at that point. Yeah, and so the Spider-Man 2 web swing mechanic, it was developed during this game, for what I understand.
A little bit.
And it obviously,
I prototyped it during that game. Spent maybe 2 weeks of late nights on it. Showed it to some people. They thought it had promise, but it was too late. We're in no position to switch horses midstream, and they were right. Like that was the wise thing to do, was to just to hold the course, get the game done. But that was the original seed by which we then poured a lot of, like at the beginning of Spider-Man 2, we poured a lot of just research and development and experimentation, and different people working on it to sort of get it to be what it ended up being.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. So whenever you were creating, or at least prototyping it, during the 2002 game, what was your reasoning for, I guess, even beginning to prototype it? Like, what was the train of thought that got you to?
So I was a bit inspired by Mark now, and he's a no long-term Treyarch employee. We worked on Die by the Sword together, and one of his game design principles was terrain matters, make terrain matter, and although the web swinging from Spider-Man from the first game was like fluid and free and had a lot of cool things about it, terrain kind of stopped mattering, because you could just, if there was some place you're trying to get to, you could just get there by pointing at it. And so my thinking was, well, if you actually had to attach your web to a building instead of it just attaching to the sky or whatever, terrain would suddenly matter a lot again. And I had visions of stuff that we didn't really see much of in the game, but I had visions of like, oh, it'd be cool to like end up in some sort of like parallel dimension where there's floating islands or something, and you're swinging from these floating islands, and wow, terrain's really going to matter then. And we never, those visions never materialized on Spider-Man 2, except in like tiny ways, like the Mysterio.
Yeah, I was thinking
one of the Mysterio missions where you're like chasing like little into the sky. So that was one of the things. But I also kind of wanted I wanted it to be more visceral, like the swinging as we had it in Spider-Man 1 sort of felt like, kind of very smooth. And that sounds like a good thing, but what I was imagining, like, if you jump off a building holding a rope, like you kind of feel it in your gut. If you're on a swing, you feel it in your gut when you hit the apex. And I thought if we use more realistic physics to sort of simulate the swinging, we sort of get that. And a lot of people do feel that way. Like, when you're like swinging, getting close to the ground and whipping around a corner or whatever, you tense up, right? And get that gamer face. And,
So whenever
that's
so whenever you were prototyping it on this game, what was relative to like deadlines and stuff, I guess, what was did you have to get like approval or anything? Was it a case of like, I think I can make this better, make the game kick ass, and then maybe the people boss like, right, you've got 2 weeks, see what you get? Was it something like that, or just what was the?
No, it was more. This idea is crazy. I shouldn't be working on it. And so like, at 5, 6 p.m. at night, once it's like when I would have normally gone home for the day, instead I stayed at work and spent worked overtime. We're prototyping this crazy idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I did talk to people about it a bunch before I actually just sat down and do it. And they almost always the reaction was like, that's crazy. That will never work. And that will be impossible to control.
If they said that would never work, did they mean like very, very technically would not be possible? Or did they mean?
No, I think they meant like it wouldn't be fun, like it would be too hard to control, and players wouldn't be able to figure it out, and they wouldn't have fun, and they'd throw the game away.
Yeah, no.
And there was something to that, right? It's a very hard game. It's got a very steep. Spider-Man 2 has a very steep learning curve that I think some people just like played it for 5 minutes and then moved on to something else. Like,
the one thing Spider-Man 2 did, like, I think was an excellent call was there was like 2 web swing modes. There was like the simple mode, and then there was the advanced one where it's like you got physics now. Whereas this first one, I think it was like R2 release R2. But the web swing was kick ass. I do find just the idea of because it was built during the first one, I'd find that fascinating. I was like, we got close to it, but we couldn't implement it. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. And if you didn't enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. Right, good luck.